Well, this is an interesting development. I have to say, it is amazing what could happen in the span of a week, as we recently got an official announcement from Henry Cavill that he is returning to the role of Superman for DC and Warner Brothers, and this was immediately followed by news of James Gunn and Peter Safran being named co-CEOs for the newly established DC films, which will also be handling television and animation. I'm not sure how many people immediately thought about how this would affect Henry Cavill's commitment to the Netflix fantasy series The Witcher, but it looks like we've already got an answer to that question. Henry Cavill is quitting Netflix fantasy series The Witcher. For some, this is definitely surprising news considering the success of The Witcher on Netflix, as well as it recently being renewed for a 4th season ahead of the release of Season 3. Not to mention the fact that Henry Cavill had proven such a driving force for this series, being such a diehard fan of the source material and campaigning hard to play the role of Geralt of Rivea. There's no denying that a lot of the success of the series on Netflix has been resting firmly on Cavill's disturbingly broad shoulders. And of course, we have to give props to Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, because we all know that that was a certified bop. Now, I'm sure most would assume that this departure is due primarily to Henry Cavill returning to the role of Superman, and if reports are to be believed, there are already a lot of big plans in place for the return of the Big Blue Boy Scout to the big screen. I actually saw someone on Twitter suggest that maybe Christopher McQuarrie is at the top of the list of potential directors, and I have to say, that would be a damn good choice. However, there are others that are speculating that Henry Cavill's departure from The Witcher has nothing to do with his return to Superman, and more to do with some infighting that allegedly has been happening behind the scenes on The Witcher between Cavill and some of the writers involved with the series. If some of the reports coming out are to be believed, especially one from a former producer on the show, it looks like the writers aren't terribly keen on some of the source material for The Witcher and have been making changes that Henry Cavill didn't necessarily agree with, and this has been something that's been brewing for quite some time. With Cavill now out of the role, we already have news of who his replacement will be, as we now know that Liam Hemsworth will be strapping on the armor for Season 4 and playing the titular hero. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is a bold strategy, Cotton. You kind of have to look at it from a standpoint of seeing what Cavill brought to the character of Geralt, and there was something very specific in terms of the presence that he had and the performance that he's giving, because it's very nuanced, but also there is this sort of primal quality to it, something that's very understated in savagery, and it's that X factor that is going to be very hard to replicate and would be regardless of who the actor you would pick to step in to fill that role. Like, I would envy anyone who would have to kind of take on that responsibility as Geralt of Rivea. However, I can honestly say that I can't imagine Liam Hemsworth ever having been on my radar as a potential candidate to replace Henry Cavill for this series, and I would think that this would probably be more up his older brother Chris's alley, but you have to figure that after spending a decade playing a character like Thor, this might be something a little too familiar. This would be a lateral move for Chris Hemsworth. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think that Liam Hemsworth is a bad actor or anything like that, but there is no denying that there is a, shall we say, deficit of charisma between him and Henry Cavill. Like, that shit is like the Grand Canyon. They had the audacity to put this man opposite Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman early in his career, like way too early. Look at how much Jeff Goldblum had to downplay his natural charisma when starring opposite Liam Hemsworth in Independence Day Resurgence. And look at how much he ultimately failed. Like, he couldn't do it. It didn't work. I'm just saying, Stallone may have been onto something when he killed off Hemsworth at the end of the first act of Expendables 2. But honestly, who knows? At the end of the day, we can cry, we can whine about it, we can already make our overdramatic declarations that we're not going to be watching Season 4 of The Witcher, even though I know that half of that group at least will be legitimately watching so that they can hate watch and indulge their confirmation bias. But we don't know what could happen. Relatively speaking, the easy part is going to be Liam Hemsworth hitting the gym and trying to get a frame and physique that comes at least close to matching Cavill's when he was playing the role. But beyond that, we could still see him surprise us and really work hard on the acting part of it to nail that ferocity and tenacity that we expect from the character. As far as I'm concerned, anything is possible. I mean, for Christ's sake, I just watched Henry Cavill in Hellraiser Hellworld, and I can acknowledge how far he's come as an actor since then. Hey guys, thanks for watching as always. If you've got your own thoughts or opinions on this news about the casting shakeup of The Witcher, please go ahead and leave a comment in the section below. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the notification bell, share this video with your friends and family, and if you'd like to keep up to date on more At Random videos, you can click the subscribe button right over here.